Okay, campers, rise and shine. And don't forget your booties, because it's cold out there today. It's cold out there every day.
What I am about to tell you sounds crazy. But you have to listen to me. Your very lives depend on it.
This is not the end.
You see, this isn't the first time. Now, we've had this conversation. What day is it?
Judgment Day.
Groundhog Day and Edge of Tomorrow are movies that seem to be completely different and unrelated in their presentation. Groundhog Day is a romantic comedy, while Edge of Tomorrow is a science fiction action film. The film takes its lead characters on a journey to discover their true selves and the good that they can do while working to achieve their goals. Bill Murray's character from Groundhog Day is a weatherman who doesn't love his job and absolutely hates that every year on Groundhog Day, he must travel to Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania to cover the town's festivities.
I'm not going to be here for the 10 o'clock. Tomorrow is Groundhog Day, and I'm going out to Punxsutawney for our country's oldest Groundhog Festival. So, as you know, according to the legend, tomorrow, February 2nd, if the groundhog wakes and sees a shadow, we've got 6 more weeks of winter to look forward to, so keep your fingers crossed, huh?
Sounds like a lot of fun. You must really enjoy it. This is your 3rd year in a row, isn't it, Phil?
4, Nan. 4.
Immediately after taping his half-hearted report, Phil attempts to leave the town of Punxsutawney, but finds that he cannot leave because of a blizzard that has covered the roads in a thick blanket of snow. Phil shuns the celebration in Punxsutawney and retires to bed early, but wakes up the next morning and realizes that it is still Groundhog Day. Tom Cruise's Major William Cage in Edge of Tomorrow is a public relations officer with no combat experience. Cage is ordered by his superiors to join an attack against invading aliens, but he attempts to blackmail General Brigham into relieving him of that duty. Brigham calls for his arrest and brands him as a deserter.
To join your army. And when the body bags come home, and they're looking for someone to blame, how hard do you think it would be for me to convince people to blame you? I'd imagine the general would prefer to avoid that.
Are you blackmailing me, Major?
I would prefer not to be filming acts of heroism and valor on that beach tomorrow.
You won't be.
I'm glad we could work this out. If you'll excuse me, General, Thank you.
Arrest this man.
What?
Cage is forced into battle ill-prepared. He uses a Claremore mine to kill an unusually large blue mimic alien, but dies when the alien's blood dissolves him. Cage is jolted awake and finds himself back at Heathrow, experiencing the events of the previous morning over again. Phil and Cage make similar choices when they realize that they are stuck in a time loop. Phil tells his producer, Rita, that he is reliving Groundhog Day over and over. Rita doesn't believe him and suggests that he needs to get his head examined for her to believe a stupid story like that. When Cage resets the day for the first time, he's shocked to see events unfold in the same way they originally did.
On your feet, maggots! Get in line before I bust your hole in my boot heel, maggot! Hold up there, Sergeant. Can I help you, sir?
Sergeant Farrell.
That is my name. I think I get it. What was it? Poker night? Bachelor party?
I'm not sure.
It happens. I'll get you sorted out, sir. Let me take those for you.
What day is it?
For you, Judgment Day. The good news is there's hope for you, Private. Hope in the form of glorious combat. Battle is the great redeemer. Fiery crucible, which the only true heroes are
forged.
Did you just interrupt me, Private?
Cage is helpless as he is forced once again into battle. This time, he knows how some of his JSOC team members die, but doesn't have what it takes to save them, and is eventually killed, and the day resets again. This time, he immediately attempts to tell his commander, Master Sergeant Farrell. But his story about reliving the same day multiple times is immediately dismissed, and he ends up being sent off to battle with his mouth covered.
Sounds crazy. It's true. And you have to listen to me. Your very lives depend on it.
1 minute! What is he saying?
Cage is killed multiple times, resetting the day each time, and learning the way events unfold in order to better navigate the battlefield. Phil gives up on his attempt to get people to believe his story, and after an encounter with two drunk people, he realizes that if Groundhog Day is every day, there would be no consequences for his actions.
That's true.
He first starts a police chase and gets arrested.
Your whole life. Clean up your room, stand up straight, pick up your feet, take it like command. Be nice to your sister. Don't mix beer and wine, ever. Oh yeah. Don't drive on the railroad track.
Phil, that's one I happen to agree with.
The day resets, and Phil rejoices at the possibilities, learning how events unfold during the day and using them to his advantage. An example is when he remembers that there's a puddle of water down a curb on the side of the street and avoids it. Phil eats junk food, smokes, and leads a generally unhealthy lifestyle, simply because by 6 o'clock in the morning, the slate will be wiped clean, and all of those bad choices will have zero impact on him. When talking to Rita in the restaurant, Phil says to her that he no longer cares about anything anymore.
Don't you worry about cholesterol, lung cancer, love handles?
I don't worry about anything anymore.
What makes you so special? Everybody worries about something.
Well, that's exactly what makes me so special. I don't even have to floss.
Meanwhile, on the battlefield, Major Cage runs into another soldier called Sergeant Rita Vartowski, who realizes that Cage can loop time. She orders him to locate her the next time he wakes up. On the next reset of the day, Cage is more accepting of his situation and readily blends in with his JSOC team members to figure out a way of finding Sergeant Rita Vartowski. During training, Cage initially insults Master Sergeant Farrell as a means of escaping from their section of the military base to find Vartowski. Cage is run over by a military vehicle as he attempts to roll under it.
What the hell were you thinking?
There's hope for you, Private. Hope in the form of glorious combat. Battle is the great redeemer. 2, 3, 4, 5,
using it as a cover to escape. He makes use of the time loop to perfect his escape plan until he manages to exceed in escaping and find a Vertovsky. At this point, Major Cage has one clear goal: to get rid of the ability to loop time. He is told by Vertovsky that the only way to do that is to help her win the war. Cage is accepting of that situation and starts work with Vertovsky. The major difference at this point in both films is that Phil is still using the time loop to engage in devious behaviors, even at one point robbing an armored vehicle.
A gust of wind, dog bark, cue the truck. Exit Herman, walk out into the bank, exit Felix, and stand there with a not-so-bright look on your face. All right, Doris, come on. Hey, fix your bra, honey. That's better. Felix! How you doing, Doris? Can I have a roll of quarters? 10, 9, 8, R, 6, 5, quarters, 3, 2,
Felix, what, did I bring out 2 bags or what? I don't know.
Phil then expresses interest in Rita and again uses the time loop to learn more about what Rita likes and dislikes. And each time he messes up, he finds a way to correct himself when the day resets. He first offers to buy Rita a drink. He takes note of her order and then uses that information when the day resets and orders that exact drink for her. Phil does this so Rita thinks he has a lot in common with her, essentially making her warm up to him easily.
So, what are the chances of getting out today?
The van still won't start. Larry's working on it.
Wouldn't you know it? Can I buy you a drink?
Okay.
Jim Beam, ice, water.
For you, miss?
Sweet vermouth on the rocks with a twist, please.
What are the chances of getting out of town today?
The van still won't start. Larry's working on it.
Oh, wouldn't you know it? Can I buy you a drink?
Okay.
Sweet vermouth, rocks with a twist, please.
For you, miss?
The same. That's my favorite drink.
Mine, too. It always makes me think of Rome, the way the sun hits the buildings in the afternoon.
The goals of our lead characters are now uneven. Phil wants Rita to fall in love with him, and Cage wants to improve his combat ability and complete his mission. While Cage must endure multiple deaths to reset the day, Phil uses the information he has gathered from multiple conversations with Rita to create a fake version of himself that has the qualities that Rita looks for in a man. When Rita seems to finally be falling in love with Phil, his insistence on having sex with her creates a suspicion about Phil, and their date ends terribly. Even with all the information Phil has about Rita, he is unable to get Rita to fall in love with him. After trying and failing multiple times, Phil becomes depressed and suicidal. The frustration of living an endless day without the love and affection of Rita drives him insane.
2, 1.
He jumps over a cliff in a car, jumps in front of a moving truck, and even electrocutes himself. The day always resets and his misery continues until he opens up to Rita once again, not expecting that she would hear him out, but she does. They spend the night together, and for the first time, they form a genuine bond. And even though the day resets again, Phil is drastically changed because he now believes in the possibility that he could get what he always wanted, and decides to take a more optimistic look at life, choosing to learn how to play the piano and ice sculpt. Major Cage also makes progress on his goals, working closely with Vertovsky, and slowly realizes the affection he develops towards her.
You'll be fine, Cage. You'll learn.
When Cage realizes that from a certain point in the war, Vertovsky dies, even after trying to save her countless times. He decides to put his goal of getting rid of the ability to time loop and helping Vertovsky to end the war aside, so he can get to spend more time with her. Phil and Cage progress through a journey of self-discovery. From arrogant and self-centered individuals, these two characters pass through a period of external recurrence, which presents as a change in their attitude towards life.
I'm sure they're around here somewhere.